Hi everyone, this is Gajda from Rosewood Santa Monica. I am a registered dietitian, primarily working with the adolescents and the adults. I was asked here by Lynn Beal, our alumni coordinator, and she asked me to talk a little bit about what I think a healthy relationship with food is, a little bit more about what I do with the adolescents. So I was just going to give you a little bit more of a breakdown around that. So my definition and my thought of a healthy relationship with food, especially somebody working with eating disorders and understanding a little bit more about the broken relationship with food and like what I've seen just within the past 2.5 years of working here, is that people who come into the facility have such a high anxiety around either like eating around people or having different foods plated in front of them, not being in control of what they're plating, anything along that lines. It creates such a high anxiety for people, and I really enjoy and I really strive to work individually with clients on how to mend that relationship, how to understand how to help that client by utilizing different coping skills other than their eating disorder, which they've had their eating disorder for so long that it's their number one go-to, but it's not sustainable for them. So what I love and what I enjoy the most is creating that sustainability, right? Creating those different coping skills and understanding what those might look like. So the different coping skills that I could recommend for clients is maybe it's breathing and grounding during a meal, or meditating right before a meal, so they're coming in a little bit more relaxed and a little bit less anxious than where they started. And then hopefully in turn, by creating that little bit more of that conducive environment for them, whether it's in that social environment or whether it's like having that fear food that's on their plate, hopefully that starts mending the healthy relationship with the food. So my definition of a healthy relationship with a food is neutralizing food, not having an emotional tie to this kind of food or that kind of food, or not feeling fearful that this, if I eat this food, this is going to happen, right? So my thought with that is that it's kind of but through like challenges and through exposure therapy that we really start understanding how we can have these foods and how we can not feel so out of control with these foods, or feeling like our relationship is really changing, because there's going to be a social situation where you're invited to that birthday party or you're invited out to this holiday party, and you don't want the primary focus to be on the food. You want to be enjoying yourself. You want to be able to feel like, if I have that piece of cake, it's not going to be the end of the world. Or if it's buffet style and you're not spending your entire time trying to figure out how to eat all of these foods and not go back to your eating disorder after that. So what I really strive for and what I really enjoy is kind of creating that playing field, creating that plan for clients where it's kind of like, okay, we can take from this category, we can take from this category, we can take from this category to create a healthy, balanced, and varied meal and varied meal to where it doesn't feel so stressful, and clients can actually see themselves enjoying something and feeling more present in the moment, and that social anxiety hopefully lessens. That's what I strive to do, and that's what I really enjoy. Now, the adolescents. So I work primarily with the adolescents here at Rosewood, and we have a family night, which is every Thursday. And just for people who aren't familiar with Thursday nights, anybody who supports the adolescent, whether it's mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, significant other, whoever supports the adolescent is welcome to come in on Thursday nights, and we all have a meal together. Normally it's me, dietitian, and then it's Adi Diamant, our our primary therapist, or our clinical director, Elise. And we all sit down and we all have a meal together, and we talk about kind of like support around the client and how to really help them. And it's also a little bit more of an education component for the significant other, the significant people in this adolescent's life, to really understand what they go through on a daily basis whenever they're going through treatment. Also, we have a group right afterwards, and the group right afterwards is either run by me, Adi, or Elise, and we kind of rotate throughout. So you get nutrition, you get therapeutic like understanding, and you can kind of just ask your questions and kind of dive into what's really kind of coming up for you and your relationship with the adolescent, or maybe some nutrition questions that you have, or like thoughts about healthy relationships with food, anything that's coming up for you. I really value that night because there's so much support that this adolescent can have in their life, but sometimes it's not always seen, or it's not always understood, because eating disorders are not always prevalently talked about in society. Excuse me. But it's kind of like an education. It's kind of like a thought process. It's a learning pattern, right? We're all constant learners. And with that too, it's kind of like this helps bridge the gap. This is the education time. This is when you can ask your questions. This is when you can kind of learn a little bit more about eating disorders, especially if you're not familiar with them. So I really value the Thursday nights adolescent group and dinner. And just, I really value kind of that one-on-one individualized talk about how food is shaping in the overall role in your life. If there's an eating disorder involved, if there's a broken relationship with food. So that's really what I strive, and that's really what I enjoy doing. If you have any questions or any comments, then please feel free to leave them below, and I'll answer them. Thank you.